Let's take a look at The Thinker, done in 1902 by Rodin. You'll see this sculpture around a lot. There are a lot of copies, and you'll find it primarily in front of educational institutions of higher learning and colleges and things of that nature, because it just exudes like academia. It exudes the need for thought, obviously. So what's the first thing we notice about this beautiful piece? First thing you notice is that the man is naked. It didn't have to be. Why does he have to be naked? Why couldn't he just have clothes on? Why does he have to be the way he is? And I think Rodin in part is saying, listen, truth, thought, the pursuit of true thought is revealing. There's a revelatory thing going on here. The man's looking for revelation, cognitive revelation, openness, exposing things that are true. And that's what true thought and science does, exposes truth and tests truth and measures truth. That's what thinkers do. So Rodin's got him naked because it exposes truth. Now, in addition to that, I would say that in the knowledge of truth and true freedom of nakedness, there is the absence of fear and the absence of shame and the absence of hiding, a need to hide or cover oneself. So not like unlike Adam and Eve in the garden. They were naked and they had no shame, they were not afraid, they had no need to hide. Well, true thought, true truth, objective truth, the truth, divine truth, is all right there for you to see. There's nothing to hide or be ashamed of. So that's one aspect of this beautiful sculpture that I would point out. The second is this: there's something wrong with it. Maybe you can see it. There's something, I don't know if wrong is the right word, but certainly unnatural about it. And the fact is, his right arm is beneath his chin. No question about that. And he is deep in thought. But he does something that seems seemingly unnatural. One would think that a right arm would be resting on a right thigh. But Rodin does a step further, and he puts the right elbow on the left thigh, crosses over, unnatural. What's the meaning behind that? Well, I would argue that true thought incorporates two things, both the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain. Most of us think with one or the other. Us right brain thinkers are mostly creative, intuitive type people. Us left brain thinkers are much more analytical and logical. Math whizzes use left brain. Intuitive prophets use right brain. Artists, painters, musicians, right brain. So I think what Rodin is saying is the completeness of thought, the wholeness of thought, the exposing and revelation of truth is found in the wholeness of the human brain, represented by the logical and the intuitive, the reasoning and the creative. Men more left brain, women more right brain. Put the two together and you have a wholeness of thought. And I think there's a wisdom and a safety in a multitude of counselors, but I also think there's a wisdom and a safety in different ways of thinking. So when you are thinking and processing something, get the input of a left brain person if you're right, and get the input of a right brain person if you're left. I think that good balance there. Scripture, the life point is have the mind of Christ. Well, the mind of Christ was a mind that was there to glorify the Father in thought, was quite analytical, incredibly logical, very practical. Analytical to the extent where messianic prophecies came to pass within hours of them having to come, opportunities to come to pass based on prophecies made in the Old Testament concerning the triumphal entry and the birth and the death and the resurrection of Christ. But he's also an intuitive, creative, loving, passionate thinker. Think about this. Rodin says, go about it both ways. The Thinker.